It started on a rainy evening when Daniel, a single dad raising his 7-year-old son, was driving home from his late shift. His tired eyes caught something unusual on the side of the road. A little girl standing barefoot, shivering, and clutching a torn stuffed rabbit. For a split second, he thought his mind was playing tricks on him. But when he slowed down, the girl looked straight at him with wide, frightened eyes. His heart clenched. In that moment, Daniel didn't know that picking her up would unravel a chain of truths that would shake his life forever. And neither did he know that the child's mother, a woman of immense wealth and secrets, was on her way, carrying a truth that would change everything he thought he knew about family, love, and destiny. Daniel pulled over and rolled down the window. "Hey, sweetheart, are you okay? Where's your mom or dad?" The girl didn't answer, just hugged her stuffed rabbit tighter. Something in her silence reminded him of his own son when he lost his mother. Daniel got out, walked closer, and knelt down despite the pouring rain. "It's okay. You're safe now. Come with me. We'll figure this out." The little girl finally whispered, "I can't find her. I'm lost." Those words broke something inside him. Without hesitation, Daniel brought her into his car, wrapped his jacket around her small body, and drove home. Not a day home. His son Ethan was waiting. The boy's eyes widened at the sight of the girl, but his curiosity quickly softened into kindness. "You can play with my toys if you want," Ethan offered shyly. The little girl, who introduced herself as Lily, smiled for the first time that night. For Daniel, it was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. As the days passed, Lily stayed with them while authorities searched for her family. She laughed again, ate heartily, and even slept peacefully, things Daniel noticed had been missing from her for a long time. Slowly, she started calling him Uncle Dan. His small apartment, filled with second-hand furniture and simple meals, felt warmer than it ever had. But deep inside, Daniel feared the day someone would come knocking at his door to take her away. The day came sooner than he expected. It was early morning when a sleek black car pulled up outside his building. Daniel opened the door and came face to face with a woman who looked like she had walked straight out of a magazine. In a tall, elegant, dressed in expensive clothes. Yet her eyes carried a desperation that cut through her composure. The moment she saw Lily, her face crumbled. "My baby," she whispered, rushing forward to hold the girl tightly. Lily clung to her, tears streaming down her cheeks, but then she hesitated and looked back at Daniel as if afraid to let go. That hesitation pierced Daniel's heart deeper than he thought possible. The woman introduced herself as Isabella Hart, one of the most powerful business women in the city. A billionaire whose name was on headlines and magazine covers, but in that moment, she wasn't a CEO. She was just a mother who had found her lost child. Daniel expected her to take Lily and vanish into her world of mansions and chauffeurs, leaving him with only memories. But Isabella didn't leave. Instead, she sat down in his humble living room, her eyes filled with something more than gratitude. She leaned closer and said words that froze him to the core. "Daniel, there's something you don't know. Lily isn't just my daughter. She's connected to you in ways you can't imagine." Daniel's breath caught. The world around him seemed to blur as he realized this was no ordinary reunion. It was the beginning of a truth that could rewrite his entire life. For a long moment, Daniel couldn't speak. His mind raced. "What do you mean connected to me?" he asked quietly, afraid of the answer. Isabella's hands trembled as she pulled a small envelope from her bag and placed it on the table. Inside were documents, birth records, medical files, things Daniel didn't fully understand at first. But one detail stood out. Lily's father's name was left blank. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. "Daniel, years ago, before I became who I am now, before I built my empire, I made choices that changed everything. I met someone. A man who was kind, who gave me hope when I had nothing. That man was you." Daniel's heart stopped. "Me?" he whispered, disbelief washing over him. Isabella nodded. "You never knew. I never told you. I found out I was pregnant after we parted ways. I was young, scared, and I chose to raise her alone. But then the world swallowed me, and I became someone else. I thought I was protecting her, but instead I lost her. And now fate has brought her back through you." The weight of her words left Daniel shaken. He looked at Lily, who was nestled between Ethan and Isabella, her small hands clutching both sides like she belonged in both worlds. A swirl of emotions, anger for being kept in the dark. Grief for the years he had missed, but also an undeniable sense of love and responsibility filled him. He was her father. Without knowing it, he had saved his own daughter on that rainy night. The following days were a storm of challenges. Lawyers, the media, and even social services became involved when they learned Lily had been missing. Daniel, a simple mechanic living paycheck to paycheck, suddenly found himself pulled into Isabella's world of wealth and scrutiny. He feared he would lose Lily to that world, that he would be deemed unfit. But Isabella surprised him. Instead of pushing him away, she fought beside him. She told the courts and the press that Daniel wasn't just the man who found her daughter, he was her daughter's father. And she wanted him and Lily's life permanently. It wasn't easy. There were sleepless nights, tense meetings, and moments where Daniel wondered if he was strong enough. But every time he looked at Lily's smile or Ethan's protective embrace of his new sister, he knew he couldn't give up. Isabella, too, softened. The wall she had built as a billionaire CEO began to crumble as she spent more time in Daniel's modest home. She learned to cook simple meals with them, laughed at silly bedtime stories, and even admitted she hadn't felt like a real mother until Daniel showed her what love looked like in the small things. Slowly, a new family began to form, one not built on wealth or status, but on love, forgiveness, and second chances. Daniel and Isabella, once worlds apart, realized they shared something stronger than their past, the future of two children who had found each other as siblings. And through the struggle, they found healing for themselves. On the night the court officially recognized Daniel as Lily's father. He held her hand tightly as Ethan stood proudly beside them. Isabella looked at him with tears in her eyes and whispered, "I thought I had everything. But I had nothing until now." Daniel squeezed her hand back, his voice steady, but full of emotion. Family isn't something we choose by blood alone. It's the love we refuse to give up on. And so what began as a rainy night rescue turned into the story of a broken man, a lost girl, and a powerful mother. Three souls who found their way back to each other. By the end, the message was clear. No matter how far apart life takes you, love has a way of bringing you home.